Welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into some of the most brutal, bone-crushing beat-em-ups ever released on the TurboGrafx-16 and PC Engine. These games are loaded with punches, kicks, ninjas, and more pixel violence than your parents would ever approve of. Before we jump in, hit that like button, subscribe, and help the channel grow. Let's get into the madness. Vigilante. Vigilante throws you into a crime-filled city where a gang called the Skinheads kidnaps your girlfriend. The goal is simple: beat people up, rescue the girl, and look cool doing it. The game uses side-scrolling brawler action, and each stage is packed with enemies who jump in from both sides of the screen. Sometimes, they grab you from behind like desperate zombies who missed dinner. The violence is a big part of the fun. Pipes, chains, and nunchucks make hits feel heavy. The impact animations are simple, but the sound effects help sell the hits. The controls are straightforward: punch, kick, crouch, and jump attacks. You don't need a manual to understand anything, which is great because nobody reads those anyway. Reviews back in the day praised the smooth gameplay and fast action. Some critics thought the game was too short and repetitive. Even so, Vigilante stayed popular because the combat felt satisfying. It still makes people smile today, especially retro collectors who love 80s arcade-style brawlers. Riot Zone. Riot Zone drops you in a gritty streets of the city beat-em-up world. Two fighters take on a criminal gang after the police fail to handle the situation. The story feels like a cheesy action movie, but that's honestly part of the charm. You walk to the right, punch everything that moves, and become the hero your mom wishes you were. The violence is stylish. Characters slam opponents into the ground, elbows crack ribs, and enemies fly across the screen like rag dolls. There are a lot of kicks and combos, and bosses come in swinging like they own the neighborhood. The controls feel close to Streets of Rage, with jumps, grabs, and special strikes. The game looks great thanks to the CD format. Colorful sprites and loud music help the world feel alive. Some players complain the game copies Final Fight too closely. Others love the fast movement and sharp animations. Even if it doesn't reinvent the genre, Riot Zone delivers a fun power fantasy where breaking bones is the solution to every problem. Double Dragon 2: The Revenge. PC Engine Super CD-ROM 2, JP only, 1993. Double Dragon 2 is a classic, and the PC Engine version brings a polished take on the arcade original. The story is pure action drama. The hero fights an army of street thugs after his girlfriend is killed. This sequel pushes the action harder, giving every punch and knee strike more energy. The violence stands out because of the dramatic hits. Flying kicks slam enemies into walls, uppercuts send bodies flipping backward, and bosses sometimes look like they ate a truck before fighting. The PC Engine version has smoother animation and sharper backgrounds than older ports. The controls are simple. One button attacks left and the other attacks right, which can be confusing at first. Once players adjust, the game becomes smooth. Reviews from import gamers say this version is one of the best home editions. The graphics and music make it feel like a mini arcade right up in your living room. It is tough though, so be ready to break a controller or two. The Ninja Warriors puts you in the shoes of robot ninjas built for destruction. The world is ruled by a corrupt government, so the ninjas fight through waves of soldiers and machines to bring justice. Everything explodes. Everything gets chopped. It's a party. The game's violence is focused on blades and robotic strength. Cutting through enemies looks dramatic, and some enemies fall apart in pieces. The scrolling is slow, but each level feels like a battlefield. You only move in one direction, and that makes the action feel focused. Some players call it a robotic version of a samurai movie. Controls are tight. You can slash, block, crouch, and throw shurikens. Bosses are large robots with big health bars, so you hack at them for a while. The music is loud and full of drum beats. Critics liked the action and the clear animations. Others wanted faster movement, but the game earned a cult following thanks to its style and intense atmosphere. Kziri, ninja action. Kziri is often called one of the most stylish ninja beat-em-ups ever made. The story follows a ninja hero on a mission to rescue a princess. The gameplay is smooth, with dashes, flips, and acrobatic attacks. You don't just punch enemies, you cut them, explode them, and toss them like trash bags. The violence feels sharp because sword attacks slice through enemies quickly. Some disappear in clouds of smoke or fall before they even land a hit. The moves are flashy and fast, giving the player a feeling of power. The controls are light and responsive. Moves chain easily, so players can perform long attack strings. The game looks great. Backgrounds are colorful, and characters animate well. Some reviewers thought it got repetitive, since enemies pop up non-stop. Others loved the energy and smooth controls. Today, Kziri is expensive because collectors chase it. When a ninja game feels this cool, people will pay real money. Wiber, Cyber Combat Police, PC Engine Hue Card, JP only, 1990. Wiber mixes cyberpunk style with superhero action. You play as a futuristic police officer who transforms into armored combat forms. The goal is to clean the streets of crime and destroy a machine-controlled enemy army. It feels like an anime fighting game mixed with a beat-em-up. The violence stands out because of the flashy transformations and heavy hits. When the hero powers up, punches crack armor, and sends sparks flying, bosses look like mutant robots, and many explode dramatically when defeated. Controls feel similar to standard beat-em-ups, with basic punches, kicks, and special powers. The fast pace makes the game exciting, although some players felt the difficulty jumps too quickly. The graphics were praised for their detail and animation. Today, it remains an underrated gem for PC Engine fans who love sci-fi action. Cybercross, Busu Keiji. Cybercross follows a hero who transforms into a super-powered suit to fight alien invaders. The story is simple, but the action makes up for it. Once transformed, you punch and kick through monsters and robotic soldiers. Many enemies burst into explosions or smoke clouds, which makes the hits feel dramatic. The violence is comic book style. Enemies never quietly fall over. They burst, flicker, explode, or fly backward like stunt actors who forgot their safety wires. The impact animations are satisfying and memorable. Controls are easy to learn. The game has jump attacks and special energy moves. Some reviewers thought the game was a bit short, but they praised the fast action and good music. The hero's design looks like a Japanese tokusatsu character, which gives the game a fun Saturday morning cartoon vibe. Tenchi Okurao, Dynasty Wars. Tenchi Okurao is a beat-em-up based on ancient Chinese war stories. The game mixes historical drama with arcade chaos. You control legendary warriors who charge into armies of soldiers. Swords, spears, and horses all become tools of destruction, and the screen fills with enemies every few seconds. The violence feels large-scale because the game throws dozens of foes at you. Many enemies fly off the screen when hit. Bosses are oversized generals with giant weapons. Some battles feel like a cartoon version of the Three Kingdoms, but with more screaming. Controls are a bit slower than modern beat-em-ups, but the game rewards careful movement. You can attack on foot or ride a horse. The backgrounds are full of detail, giving each level a sense of place. Reviews praised the art, music, and large battles. Some players wanted faster movement, but many fans still enjoy the classic style. Renie Blaster. Renie Blaster brings demons, dark magic, psychic powers, and martial arts into one crazy beat-em-up. Two heroes battle monsters across creepy temples and urban streets. Every punch explodes with special effects, and many enemies arrive in large packs. It feels like an anime fight scene every 5 seconds. The violence is dramatic. Attacks send foes flying with giant flashes of light. Special powers feel like magical bombs. Some enemies break into pieces. The game has a 2-character system where each hero has different skills. One uses martial arts, the other uses psychic powers. That gives the gameplay variety. Controls are easy to pick up. You perform combos, jumping strikes, and magic moves. The CD format gives the game animated scenes and a dramatic soundtrack. So, the reviews were mixed. Gamers praised the art and presentation, but complained that the gameplay can get repetitive. Even so, it became a collector's item, and people who love supernatural beat-em-ups adore it. Mad Stalker, Full Metal Force. Mad Stalker mixes beat-em-up action with robot combat. The world is under attack from rogue machines, so the player controls a giant combat mech. Levels are filled with enemy robots who crash, explode, and break apart during fights. The style feels like mecha anime, mixed with old-school arcade gameplay. The violence is mechanical, but still heavy. Punches send sparks flying. Metal bodies dent and fall apart. Bosses look like giant armored monsters. And fights feel intense. The controls include punches, kicks, dashes, and weapon attacks. The game also has one-on-one robot duels that feel like a fighting game. Reviews praise the music and graphics. Some players thought the difficulty jumped too high near the end. Fans of mecha games still chase this version because it is rare and looks great. The game also released on other consoles, but the PC Engine version has charm, especially for collectors. Splatterhouse. Splatterhouse is probably the most famous violent game on the system. You play as Rick, a guy with a mask who looks like a horror movie slasher. You walk through a haunted mansion filled with monsters, mutants, and things that should really stop moving. The game is packed with blood, guts, and creepy enemies. The violence was shocking for its time. Enemies explode, heads fly, bodies tear apart, and the mansion itself feels alive. Some monsters crawl out of walls, others melt on the floor. It feels like a horror movie that grew a pair of legs and became a game. Controls are tight. You punch, slide, use weapons, and smash everything in your path. The sound effects make hits feel brutal. For many early TurboGrafx owners, this was the game that made their friends say, "Whoa, what are you playing?" Reviews praised the dark art style, creepy music, and bold horror direction. Some parents hated it, which only made kids want it more. Splatterhouse remains a legend in retro horror gaming and one of the coolest beat-em-ups on the PC Engine. China Warrior, the Kung Fu. China Warrior is one of the earliest HuCard games. It shows off huge character sprites that take up most of the screen. You play a Kung Fu master walking in a straight line while smashing anything that stands in the way. The game looks dramatic, like a giant martial arts movie. The violence comes from giant punches and kicks. Every hit lands with a big animation. You fight enemies, bosses, and random people who thought attacking a martial arts master was a good idea. Some enemies drop from above like they forgot how gravity works. Controls are simple. Punches, kicks, and jumps are all you need. The gameplay has a rhythm. You move forward, time your attacks, and try not to get surrounded. Critics were mixed. Some liked the graphics. Others thought the gameplay felt stiff. Still, the game made a strong early impression because the characters were huge for an 8-bit system, and many players remember it as a classic showpiece for the PC Engine. Marvelous verdict. And that wraps up the wild world of ultra-violent beat-em-ups on the TurboGrafx 16 and PC Engine. These games were loud, crazy, and full of flying fists, exploding robots, evil ninjas, and enough pixel damage to fuel your inner rage. Tell me which one you'd play first, and don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and hit the bell for more retro gaming deep dives. Thanks for watching.